Let's see if this is working here. Live. Okay, it looks like it might be working. For some reason, my screen was frozen the first time. Yeah, for some reason my screen was frozen the first time, and now I think we're good. All right, wait for some people to get in here. It's kind of hot in here. Usually it's cold down here. Probably because I turned up the heat. Got the heat blasting down here. So we'll give it a couple of minutes, then we'll dive into some stuff, some things. It looked like you had two streams going. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Um, it's like my I don't know. I don't know what was going on. My overall screen was like frozen. Um, but now I think we're good. I think we have one stream going. Yeah, my video was going, but the video was frozen. I don't know. Whatever. We fixed it with a brand new stream. We wouldn't have been able to fix it with the old stream. I'm kind of tired, man. I've been freaking tired because I've been watching these games that have been going on, and also last night, I don't know why, out of nowhere, I was just coughing a lot, and my like throat was very, very itchy. I think it might have been like allergies and some stuff, so I took some allergy medication. But feel better this morning. But I couldn't go to sleep. I was probably up for like, I don't know, an hour coughing stuff, but I'm not sick. That's the thing. Um, what was I gonna do? Turn off the heat. I wanted to do. Probably get me like a prime energy or something. Anyways, that was weird. Yeah. That's good. Good morning. Um, we're good now. Yeah, I saw that too. Hey man, I fixed my staking problem. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad I could help, or you can get it figured out. That's fantastic. Um, what time is it over there? It's 8 a.m. 8:18 a.m. Good morning. Why Lunix sinking? Too much loss for me. I hear you. Let me actually let me look where Terra Luna Classic is. I haven't looked at it in the last maybe, I don't know, a couple of hours. Currently up 2%. Terra Luna Classic is up 2%. You're seeing the volume that's up 38%. So people are investing into it. The overall price is definitely lower than where we expected it to be. Most people expect it to see it run to way higher figures, get to, maybe multiple billions of dollars worth of a market cap. Seeing more and more potential use cases that could be associated with it as well. So I understand where you're coming from. I would like to see it at 0.0002 or 3 or anything like that, but it's kind of falling in line with, like, say, Shiba Inu, right? Shiba Inu has five zeros, I think, right now, either 4 or 5 zeros. It keeps going back and forth from gaining a zero, dropping a zero. So it's going back and forth, but it's staying around that like 0 1 mark, right? The 10 mark, wherever that level is, whether it's 3 zeros, 4 zeros, or 5 zeros. And that's where it ends up. You end up looking at it, you're like, this is not moving. It's not making any type of moves. And what should I do? And honestly, these are the times where it may be the most difficult time to hold on to it. And I'm not saying you have to hold on to it. You can make whatever decision you want to make. But these are the times where you make stronger investors, because those people that see this down at these levels for a long period of time or a longer period of time, um, you can do one of two things, right? You can either sell everything, or you can hold it. And there's a lot of people that will be willing to take the loss and say, if this is just going to go lower, I'll just buy back lower. But then when it ends up skyrocketing, they miss out on the opportunity. And there's tons of times where people are like, the market is dropping too low. They sell their position, and then the overall market just starts to run. It starts to absolutely skyrocket. Um, Case in point would be 2020 in March. The markets were dropping a hell of a lot, right? It seemed like 7% every single day. We saw, you know, Facebook down, Tesla down, Amazon down. Everything was just falling down to lower and lower figures, and you thought it was going to continue because of COVID and the lack of, people going into work, and everybody being off on a lockdown. You would think like, oh, it's going to continue, but then all of a sudden things turned around very quickly. Everything started to skyrocket. I saw so many people that were like, look, I'm getting out of the market completely, and I will get back in when it starts to thrive, or when it starts to look like it's going to make some moves, or when it's lower, I can buy back in and see it make that move. But they missed out on the opportunity. Literally within a day, you saw it jump. Everything was up and really, really running, and they missed out on those opportunities. And I think that's the same thing that people are going to see within the crypto market or within this next bull run. Honestly, I think people are underestimating, how strong of a fall this was and how big of a comeback this is going to be whenever the comeback does happen, whether it's 2023, the end of 2023, in the next month, or, maybe even next year, right? So, they're just underestimating how big it's going to be. And if you're using money that you can't afford, it makes it even tougher, Thank God you're all right, man. How's the family? I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. The family is doing great. Hayden had her first night to where she did not pee in her diaper, and I'm so upset that Erica didn't wake me up, because I usually am awake at 5:30, but this past maybe week and a half, I've been waking up at like 7:30. Um, and that's because of staying awake to watch these games that are happening on the West Coast. And I live on the East Coast, so I'm up until 1 o'clock in the morning, watching these games because it's history, right? LeBron versus Curry one more time. That is history. You don't want to miss out on these things. That's like, saying, Magic versus Bird. You don't want to miss out on those, right? You don't want to miss out on these iconic moments that we should be happy to watch. Even like Tiger Woods winning his Masters and his 15th major or his 16th major or whatever he ends up winning. You don't want to miss out on these things. So when you get those opportunities, you can say, I saw that. I saw greatness happen. I saw the battle between Curry and LeBron. I saw it all the way until the end, to when maybe LeBron wins his fifth. I saw it to when Curry wins his fourth or wins his fifth. So like you're watching this in real time, and I don't want to miss it. So that's why I take these games seriously. Not because I'm a Lakers fan. I'm not. Not because I'm a Warriors fan. I'm not. I'm a Bulls fan, and we are nowhere near the level of what's happening right now in the playoffs, and every team that's in the playoffs. So, um, LeBron in five. I mean, either way, I mean it's greatness that happens. I feel like Steph Curry deserves to be up there. I know they won't put him up there with like, um, you know, Bill Russell and MJ and LeBron, but I feel like he deserves to be up there. If he win, especially if he wins five, right? If he wins five and change the game completely from what we know as like just dunking and you know dunking on people and aggressive, an aggressive sport. There it was way more aggressive years ago, but now it's like, you can't land under someone's feet, which is understandable. You don't want them to twist an ankle or break, you know, a bone in their leg or something. But yeah, it's definitely crazy how he absolutely changed the game completely just based off of shooting threes. And nobody, when I played basketball, right? And I'm not. I'm 30, right? 32. When I played basketball in high school, um, if I would have taken that shot, I would have been benched and I would have never played basketball again in high school because of the fact that that's unheard of. You don't take a hash mark shot. You don't take a logo 3-pointer. You step in a couple of feet. Closer you are, the better chances you can make it. You know. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. I'm watching these games and I'm very tired. That's the reason why. I hold 3 million Lunix still, but I have made $1,000 in gains so far with Pepe. I think it will be the next Shiba. I mean, I can't say that I see that. I definitely see the popularity because a lot of people are on it, and that's what a lot of cryptocurrency is all about, popularity. And people have made money from this position. I'm not getting into it. And the reason why I'm not getting into it is because it's not that I don't see the future in it. It's because where I'm invested, I see potential in other plays that I haven't missed out on any of the gains versus seeing these. And you may end up seeing, more of a retracement at certain levels because you're seeing the massive side of the gains happen in the short term, in the beginning stages. So maybe it will. I don't know if it'll be the next Shiba Inu, but honestly, you never really know. So I can't say it absolutely will not, but you honestly don't know. You really don't. Um, I have a feeling that something will happen. Just my feeling. I mean, we are very close to getting to some significant points, right? You see, interest rates have increased again, but then you understand that there's going to be, um, a kind of dialing it back on the tightening. That's a good thing. And I said that in my last video. I said, don't expect a massive fall because honestly, this is a good thing to know that they're trying to get us back to normal when it comes to inflation. Like when we get this inflation data, if we're down to 4% or lower, I mean, that's going to be amazing. Wherever expectations are, I hope expectations are down to, 4% or even lower, maybe high 3%. That would be freaking fantastic. Then we can get back to normal, like I said. And then they start to lower, um, or not hike up the interest rates, but, start to dial back on the interest rates. And then you still see um, that overall inflation is still decreasing until we get to a stable point, and then you start really dialing it back. There you go. Ask my community. We got 129 people here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I appreciate everybody that's here. I don't know why I get so freaking tired all the time. I just need to wake up. Wake up a little bit. Why is Gala version 2 not on Coinbase? I have no idea. I heard Coinbase was leaving the US. Um, yeah, that's what you hear. I mean, maybe they're just trying to scare um, the US because it's a big part or a large amount of revenue, a lot of taxes that will be paid out that uh, eventually won't be if they leave the US. I don't know if they will. I think, if anything, they would leave the US, but it wouldn't be to a point where the US market can't buy cryptocurrency. It would be a limited market if that's the case. That would probably be the worst situation. Poole still needs to be benched after that. He's been off for a minute. He had no business trying to play hero. So I don't agree with that. A lot of the ESPN analysts and everything, they started to turn around to it. The initial thought to that was that Poole needs to step in, that Poole needs to not take that shot. He made 6 of 10 before that. He pulled up and was hitting running threes, and he was hitting some shots that day. He was on fire, and he was off by that much, by a small margin. I see that as a good shot, right? Maybe in my basketball playing days, like not professional, but organized basketball playing days, I would have never taken that shot, right? I wouldn't even have been happy with anybody taking that shot on the court. But when you've seen him hit that shot before and he has already made 6 out of 10, why not? Why not take that three? They're doubling Curry. You know that they're gonna try and either, especially when there's 3 points, right? And you know that the team is really, really good at shooting threes. A lot of times what the other team will do is foul them, get them to the foul line, and they'll shoot 2 free throws, and then they'll rely on their free throws in order to win the game rather than having somebody win it with a game-winning three. So um, that's something they tried to avoid. And when it got to 8 seconds, a lot of times a team will do that within like 6 seconds or 5 seconds so that you don't have the chance to shoot that three. And then if they would have swung it around and nobody would have gotten an open shot, they wouldn't have been able to even have that chance because Curry was being doubled, right? You really only have two other options, right? You have Curry, you have Thompson. I like that shot from Poole. I honestly do. I usually don't like how 100 like 150% he's always on go. Um, and he loses track of the ball sometimes. But I live with that shot, and I'm sure they live with it as well. Obviously, they would like to have it in Curry's hands, but he's going to be doubled. He's going to be doubled. Thompson's going to be doubled. Um, and you live with Poole's shot because he already made 6. You know, that's my feeling. If anything, Coinbase will move to main operations in another country, but some serious crackdowns would have to happen for them to completely leave. Absolutely, yeah, I agree. That's what I said. Guys, if you have a Gala on Coinbase, get it in a wallet. Most people won't get V2. Somebody sent a super chat. Sorry. What are your thoughts on Jasmine? I have yeah, obviously, if you haven't seen my channel, I have major thoughts on Jasmine. I really like Jasmine coin. I haven't seen what it did today. Someone said that it's moving today. But the popularity within this position is growing and growing. Jasmine coin currently at 0.0071, almost 72% of a penny, is phenomenal, right? That brings me to a higher level, brings a lot of other people to a higher level. I have 206,000 Jasmine coin, and I'm sure other people have a lot more. I've heard people have 500,000. I heard people have 1 million. And honestly, I could get to that point. I'm not looking to invest into any more. The reason is because I don't want to raise my cost basis. My cost basis is at 0.0049. So I want to make sure I'm always going to remain positive, even though I believe in this a lot further. I always want to remain positive on this position. If you look at the volume, you're seeing $97 million that's going into this, up 36%. And again, the popularity is rising. People believe in this position. People see what it can be. And even some people are seeing what they would miss out on if they weren't invested into it, right? It's up 6.33% today. Market cap is still at $339 million. Again, with history, if you look at all history on this, you've seen this up at a $1.2 billion market cap, and that was in November when everything really started to collapse. You saw that start to fall and everything started to fall down to a lower level. And I think it can get back there again. 1.2 billion. I think it can go a lot further than that. And depending on how much is in circulating supply at that time, you may end up seeing a way higher price than where it's at. So either way, you can look at certain levels and say what you expect minimum from this play. And I would definitely say a 3x from this play minimum, right? And some people are looking for that, or they're looking for way more, but just understand you have to have minimums within it because you never know what could happen. Just like you never know what positives could happen, you never know what negatives could happen there. So it looks really, really good. Again, and I'm more stuck on the popularity side of it with $97.3 million that's going into it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Jasmine. And again, I'll show you guys how much Jasmine I do have. So again, let me refresh this. Refresh. 25,000 in Coinbase, at which scroll down here. Jasmine, I have $1,473 worth of Jasmine, up $85 today. Overall, I should be up to like maybe 400 $458 all-time returns within that position. So um, definitely really, really good movement. I expect a lot more. Guys, XRP is only 50 cents. Now, what are you waiting for? Um, yeah, I have XRP. I don't have a lot of it, but I do have XRP. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, please do so. It does help out the channel. Also, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon. My link is in the description for my Patreon, for my Discord group. If you guys want to join it and just, have a chat with me, and go over there and like some of the videos that I post, any of the educational content as well, feel free to do so. Now, Harper was home yesterday again because she, like I said, she threw up at school the day prior, and then today she had to be out of school as well. Soon it's going to be to a point where Harper's out of school the entire time. Oh, shoot. Because summertime, right? So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff together. So I'm going to have to try and work through recording, as well as getting some live streams up, and going to do fun stuff, like going to Hershey, going to the park, doing all this extra stuff while Hayden's at daycare and Erica's at work. And that will be fun, but I need to make sure we still get in the content and all that stuff. So appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you guys for being here. Mr. P has been a member for 12 months. That's phenomenal. Thank you for being a member for so long. Thank you for being a part of this community. It means the world. It honestly does. I need way more Jasmine than what I do have. I hear you. I'm feeling Jasmine for Jasmine. Wait, I'm feeling jazzy for Jasmine. My entry point was 0.0004. That's phenomenal. That's a really, really good point. Like even, like flat. That's fantastic. Just sent Gala to MetaMask. Or just send it to MetaMask. Damn, only got 25K. Did the whole time go up? Let's check. Probably not. So it's still around 8 days. I would probably check in the next week to see if we're going to have more and more hold time. That's something we also want to look into a lot, because we want to make sure that people aren't just trading it like to day trade. We want to make sure people are trading it and holding it and understanding the value. The more that typical hold time goes up, the more you understand that people believe in the long-term value of it, rather than just a short-term day trade and, gain something, get out of it really quick, and then, get back in it, get out of it, get back in it, all of that stuff. Matt, what do you think about Pepe? I gave my thoughts on Pepe. I still think, right, it may be a good play for some people. If you're already in the play, it may be great for you. Currently up 71%, seeing the volume up to $330 million, or the overall market cap at $666 million. Understand the reason why I'm not invested into this or investing into it. Not because I don't believe in what it is or what it could be. The reason why I'm not investing into it is because you miss the boat. When you miss a boat, like say in real life, if you actually miss the boat, you're not going to jump in the water and start swimming after it, are you? You're not going to jump into another boat and start, trying to catch up to it, right? You'll probably just cut your losses and be like, all right, I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm just gonna go ahead and fly home instead of catching the cruise back. You missed your boat. That's all you can do, right? And that's basically the situation that we're at, right? People invested into the play. They made money with the play. They're making tons of money with the play, with this project. And it doesn't mean that it won't skyrocket above this point. You could probably see a 2x, 3x for this point, which honestly could be a 20 or 30x for other people. But the point is that you're putting a lot at risk for something that has risen by so much to invest in at some of these peak points. And that's the problem with some cryptocurrency projects, and people that are invested into it. They're always trying to push that this is absolutely going to skyrocket when it is at the highest price. And when that happens, no offense to anybody that's doing that, no, but when that does happen, and you push that and you say this is going to absolutely skyrocket and you'll be able to get a 3x out of it. A 3x is actually maybe the best situation that you could have, while this person's getting a 3x. This new person that comes in, the person that told you to get in there is getting a 30x, while you're getting your 2x, or maybe even it's a chance to a 2x. Now, if it starts to retreat on you, it starts to retrace. Well, now this person's losing, X multipliers as it's going down, but they can sell right away. But this person that invested in at the spot where it is the peak point is now losing the money that they put in. So it's so difficult to find something that runs by so much, 71%, 100%, 1000%, 10,000%, and then make that move into it knowing that it is at its peak point. I would never tell anybody to do that. I would never tell anybody, hey, invest into this point. When we were talking about Terra Luna Classic heavily, and Terra Luna Classic got up to 0.00065, I talked about how it does have a lot of potential above it, right? But I also mentioned the fact that it ran so much, and people are always asking me, hey, is this a good price to buy in? I'm like, honestly, it's probably not the best price to buy in, because it is at a more of a peak point, right? It rose by so much. I gained 70,000% on my gain. Does that mean that everybody else should invest into the play at the highest level that it's been in a while? No, that doesn't mean that. People should not invest in those levels, because you're going to see a retracement. That's exactly what you saw. Now, if people still invest at the retracement, you still have a chance for it to come down, but not as much of a chance if it was at its peak point. So if you invest at 0.0003, that's not a bad price. It's a bad price compared to where it is now. You lost maybe, I don't know, 60% of your overall value if you invested at that point. But understand, if you invested at 0.00065, you lost 80, 90% or something like that of your value. And that's where you just want to minimize the loss that you could have while maximizing maybe some of the gains that you could have. Does that make sense? um, Hey, man, I always appreciate your insight into the market. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, we have 207 people here. Please hit the like button. Also, again, if you guys want to, go and check out my Patreon, feel free to go and check out the Patreon. Link is in the description. Here's the Patreon link where you can get all different types of stuff. Again, there's 235 exclusive posts. Some of them are buy alerts, some of them are sell alerts. But we don't really have much right now, or much buy alerts, or many buy alerts and sell alerts, because of the fact that I haven't been buying much. I've been actually sitting on things. And anytime I have a gain that I'm looking to take the profit and put it towards something, I will let you guys know. But anytime I also have an educational video, I also will put that up there, whether it's, getting your exit plans all situated and making sure you have something there, or talking about the market, talking about obviously important announcement, or having trying to see if there's educational content, Shiba Inu swing trade alert, educational content, or a different play that I make. So there's a lot of different stuff, guys. There's a lot of different stuff. Make sure that you go and check that out if you guys are interested. Twitch gang, thank you for being here. What's up, Leotis? Zaya? 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 Zaya. I think that's it. Have a great day, Bo. Thank you, Jay Stacks, for the super chat. You have a great day as well. Hopefully your investments go well. Have you been investing into anything like lately? Anything new lately? Or have you been one of those people that's on the Pepe train? I mean, it's understandable if you are. It's not saying it's a bad thing. If you make money from something, it's all good, you know? Thank you for the super chat. Matt, what do you think the project will do Q4 when Jasmy locks up some of the coins? What do I think Jasmy will do? So, I think depending on how much is actually like locked up, um, we may see a we may see the price stabilize a little bit, right? We may see the price stay where it's at, even though the market cap will decrease. Um, Now, with all the people that are invested into it, they're giving themselves an opportunity, being a part of something that is locked up and seeing it get back to a certain level of market cap. So, say they lock up, um, 50% of the coins, right? Just to make it easy math, 50% of the coins. Currently, you would see it. Let's go back to the market cap. Currently, you would see it. I think it's at like a 300 million dollar market cap. This gets cut in half, $150 million market cap at the current price. Well, now you have the ability to get back to the newer market cap, find a way to build, that price up, and that's without extending the market cap. The market cap's still the same. So now the market cap is up to a 330 or 300 billion or $300 million market cap, and now it's at double the price, which is 1.4 cents. So now people are making money off of just the overall lockup of that position. Now, also, it gives you the ability to not only double in that price point. So, say if you're at 330 or $300 million, now that does find a way to double. Not only does your position double again, right? You're looking at a 4 times increase there. So, because you're going to see it still at the same market cap with a lower supply by 50%, which means that the overall price is going to double. But then you're also seeing the market cap go up to a 600 million, which would mean it doubles again. So not only seeing a 2x, which you would normally see a 2x, you would normally see a 4, or you would newly see a 4x return into that. So I think Jasmine Coin is going to have a lot more hype that goes into it as we get closer and closer to that time frame. And as you are seeing this, volume is up, seeing it up to $100 million, seeing the price get up to 70% of a penny. I expect Jasmine Coin to have a major move, not only by just potential use case, but also by popularity, which is growing a lot. Have to get back up on everything. You think in the next 3 months it'll pop off? I would like to think that. And that's what, as I look into inflation and, interest rates and, maybe hopefully some loosening up of the reins of like the SEC and everything, and, seeing this labeling of unregistered securities left and right. If we can find a way to dial that back, also dial back interest rates, and see inflation also fall down consistently, we see a full year of decreased inflation. We finally get back to normal, and now the interest rates start to fall back a little bit. I think we could see things really, really start to run. However, we still have the unknown of what these levels are going to be. I believe we'll see decreased inflation, as we get this data later in the month, but you never know exactly how all of that's going to flow, all of that's going to transpire. It's definitely something that I think about on a daily basis. Like, how is the market going to react to this next thing and this next thing and this next thing? You know what I mean? Whoa, Richie's Plain Talk. Thank you for the $50 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. There are millions of Shiba wallets and not enough bone to go around. That's why I keep buying the dip. Your thoughts? So I don't know where bone is right now, but there are millions of Shiba wallets. I just hope they have, if they find a way to attach bone a little bit more to Shiba. Right now, it seems like with Shibarium, you will have an impact, and it will impact both of them. But it seems like people are kind of they would be forced to buy bone, but not at a massive scale, because it's only going to cost you 1 cent or less than 1 cent per transaction. So if somebody goes ahead and buys $100 worth of bone, they don't need to buy any more bone in order to do these transactions. But also, do they want to do the transactions? Why do they want to do the transactions? Is there going to be a way to fully benefit Shiba Inu in the long run? Also, is there going to be an on-ramp on this Shibarium platform in order to not really see any type of fee to begin with. Because if, to be honest, if you're buying, let's say, Bone or Shiba Inu, if you wanted to on ramp it, it doesn't seem like Shibarium is going to have an on ramp. They have a deposit, which could be something like transferring from another place over to Shibarium. But if you're just buying Bone or buying Shiba, you're going to buy it on a place to where you would have to spend in a fee anyways, and then transfer it over to Shibarium to trade back and forth. And then if you want to off ramp it, you have to send it back to wherever you bought it. So if you can get around that and you don't have that situation that now they can on ramp it and off ramp it within this platform, that would be phenomenal. That's the type of thing that I dealt with other layer twos, is that yeah, it's easy to transfer back and forth and to use and to do all of that, but still buying it, you have to pay the regular gas fee that you would pay in order to, own it. So I do think Bone will be a lot more valuable, especially in the long run, especially even being, associated with Shiba Inu. But it really does depend on a couple of other things. It depends on how much it will be attached to Shiba Inu, how much it will affect Shiba Inu in the long run, and how much people are going to use the Shibarium platform, and how if it will actually be cheaper throughout the whole process, not just the Shibarium transfer or exchange or whatever. It's about from initial purchase to to end sell, right? That's what it's all about. If you could find a major benefit in there with still using Shibarium, then yes. But if there's no benefit, people will end up just buying it on whatever platform it's on and holding it on that platform, because by the time they send it over, right, to Shibarium, they're going to end up paying the fee to begin with in order to buy it from straight cash. And then when you go and sell it, they're also going to have a fee when they sell the position. So it's definitely something that you have to think about. I do believe, like I said, that Bone will be more massive with 100% of the supply that is out there. You'll see more volume that's going into it, and maybe a lot more of it will be decentralized, will be, on the DEX side versus CEX side. But right now you're seeing it just like the same, which is more CEX volume versus DEX volume. Thank you for that super chat, though. That $50 super chat definitely goes a long way. I appreciate it more than you know. Especially with everything that's been going on with this past week, I haven't been able to do much on these platforms, and that means a lot. So thank you, Richie. 2024 presidential election will spice up the crypto market. That's true. Matthew, if I got Gala on MetaMask for the airdrop, it's fine. I'm not so sure. Honestly, I haven't been, I haven't been diving into Gala too much lately. I still own Gala, but honestly, I don't know all the details as to what's going on with Gala, because I'm hearing a lot more Gala today than I was, in previous days. But this is Gala version 1 that I have. I guess I would need version 2. And I will do an update on it today. Let me look up some stuff and do an update on it today. Maybe I'll if I don't have enough space, I'll do that on my NFA channel if I don't have enough space. Because there's some other things that I want to talk about here. I can't remember what it is now, but I have some other stuff that I want to talk about. So if anything, subscribe to my NFA channel. I will have something on there in the next day, probably today. I think Bone will hit $2. I think Bone will hit $3 easily, and I'm in at 60 cents. Well, one, that's a phenomenal price that you're in. I've been thinking about buying into it. I just don't really know, or don't. The problem is that one, I'm not looking to buy, but also I'm looking for the right price, like the perfect price, which I know it's hard to find the perfect price or the lowest price possible. but under a dollar is definitely a good buy. It's definitely a good play for this position. But honestly, it does depend on how much Shibarium is used and how much bone is tied to Shiba Inu. Um, and I think the fee should be higher, but I guess they have to make the fee lower because then it's really enticing, especially with the fact that they have no on ramp. If they get an on ramp, it's a different story, right? If they get an on ramp, it completely changes everything. But also, how do you go through having an on ramp while also running through uh, layer two, right? Um, if you're using MetaMask and you're using MoonPay or whatever the platform is, and you're using MoonPay, um, you have the ability to purchase Ethereum, but definitely not layer two Ethereum. So maybe that's the case. They end up changing that a bit, but you're going to end up paying the normal fees that you would pay, the normal gas fees that you would pay, and it would still be the same situation as if you went to go buy on any other place, but an exchange may end up being cheaper. So 234 people watching for 142 likes. Let's get that fixed. Yeah, continue to hit that like button. I gave up on Shib. It's just my own thoughts though. I hear you. It's so difficult to stay engaged with something that's like not doing anything, right? You feel like it's going to make a move. You know that people are telling you, "Hey, this is going to make a move," but deep down, you're like, "I don't see it. I don't see it moving. I really, I just want to see it." And honestly, it's not giving you any type of glimpse. Like you see Ethereum and Bitcoin making 5% moves, 10% moves, and then Shiba Inu is at 0% gain or 1% down, and you're like, how, why are they not moving? But you need to look at everything. You can't just look at Shiba Inu compared to there. You have to look at everything else and know that it's not an altcoin market right now. It hurts though. I know how you're feeling. Every time I'm like, oh, things are looking positive. My overall portfolio is up to $65,000, and then the next day it's down to $57,000 because everything seemed to have dropped. And then as it holds at these levels, I'm like, I don't want to hold at these levels. But then I have to remind myself, we're not we're not in that bullish market right now. We may be starting off, but we're not there yet. When Shibarium launches, Shiba 2.0 launching on it, which will cut down on the multiple fees, being able to purchase it right there, uh, like we wish we could do with Lunic on station. True. I don't know exactly how you're purchasing it through Shiba Swap, which is always a great thing to have the ability to buy it on a platform that they own, which definitely changes the game a little bit. But also, buying on Shiba Swap, that is still considered. Am I wrong by saying that? Is that still considered a DEX? So if I go over here and I go to markets and I go to DEXs, Shiba Swap, yeah, still considered a DEX. So you're still going to be seeing the larger fees compared to exchanges. That's a little bit of the issue, right? Um, where the whole purpose of the Shibarium is to have faster speeds, um, or faster transaction times and have cheaper costs. But if you're paying for Shiba Swap in order to buy it, or you're paying for this, DEX side of things, which you end up paying gas fees for, um, in order to purchase this position, you're still at risk of using layer one, Ethereum in order to pay for the gas, in order to pay for the transaction, versus an exchange where you can go over to Coinbase Advanced and buy Shiba Inu if you wanted to. So say if I go over here and type in SHIB and go to USD, and I wanted to buy SHIB over here, let's say I don't know how much I buy. Let's just do one, however much that is. Um, I don't know how much that is, but let's say we're buying that much. It's 100 million or something. We're paying $5.98. if you go and make that purchase on a DEX, you're still paying more. That's where it's like, yes, you have the ability to buy directly there, which is something we want to have happen on the Lunix side, which would be amazing if it does end up happening. If we figure that out, or sorry, when they figure out the whole Shiba Swap 2.0 and going on Shibarium and how that really affects it and what the cost will be, you're looking at that cost plus the less than a penny transaction to buy Shiba Inu or to buy Bone or whatever you wanted to have. But if you're buying directly, let's say if you did buy Shiba Inu on Shiba Swap, what's the point of swapping for that position? You know, does that make sense? What's really the point of swapping for that position if you already own it? So I don't know. We're trying to think of, I always like to look at the negatives as well as the positives. I love to look at the negatives because if you look at the worst situation, it only gets better from there. I made the mistake in not knowing what the worst situation was with the whole car dealership situation that we were dealing with. And I knew that I made a mistake as soon as we got to the point where they were like, oh, we had to get it inspected and everything. I was like, we didn't look at the worst situation. So everything after that, I was like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen is that I lose out on $4,600, right? And you have to figure out what the worst is in order to see what could be better, right? So anyways, that's where we differ here. And I think that's something that can be an honest argument or a real argument that we can find a way to find a solution on, you know? Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I appreciate that. If ETH fees stay crazy high, Bone could be big if Shibarium is done correctly. It all depends, honestly. Brother, what is your honest opinion of XRP? Will they win the lawsuit? They will hit an all-time high. So if they do win the lawsuit, so a win can come in multiple ways, right? If you have a lower settlement to where this whole entire thing was going on, and typically you would want some sort of a bigger settlement, that could be a win for XRP. Honestly, I don't think they want to just do a simple settlement because that's what every other exchange and project has done. They have settled so that they don't have to go through the legal system and go through all the lawyer costs and fees and everything that's happening there. But I don't think they want that. And I think a win, honestly, is knowing that you're not going to be labeled unregistered security, having a clear definition of what an unregistered security is. So what will happen when they win? I think the overall market, sort of has like a sigh of relief, right? Maybe even Coinbase and people that are invested in Coinbase has a sigh of relief, and people start, strongly investing into the play because they know that, these projects are safe. They know that these projects are not going to be attacked by the US government. So we end up seeing some major movement. But the point is that right now we have negativity or negative thing after negative thing after negative thing after negative thing that goes into the crypto market, whether it's unregistered securities, collapses of, crypto exchanges, collapses of crypto projects like Terra Luna Classic, or seeing exchange tokens that are being, attacked in any way, and, exchanges that are going bankrupt. But then you also have, I'm trying to think of where I was with this. You also have some of the positive stuff that you can look at there and understand that inflation is decreasing. But then you also have the fact that inflation was higher, and you also have all these other things, all these negative things that are going on. And once the negatives turn to positive over here, negatives turn to positive over here, over here, over here, over here, I mean, we'll be golden. Things will run to way higher figures. So honestly, I don't know if they will win the case. I don't know if they have like a third definition of what a win would be. But for me, a win would be not accepting any type of settlement and making sure you have a full on win. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Guys, we have 222 people that are currently here. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. It means the world to me that you guys are even just, standing here with me. A good rule is to never panic sell your blue chip coins at a loss. Like SHIB, when it dips, when you buy more dollar cost, trust me, it works. I 100% agree with you. Um, People make that mistake all the time where they will sell a position if you physically know that it is lost, or you see that it has lost a ton of popularity and it will never gain that popularity back. um like, it's losing holders, it's losing volume, it's losing interest, it's not trending, it's not making any type of impact, you're seeing lost followers on Twitter. All of these things lead to less popularity and probably a coin that's not necessarily dying, but not going to see the gains that you want to see. Shiba Inu, that's not the case. It's gaining new followers every day. It's gaining new holders every day. We're seeing volume that spikes out of nowhere, and we understand that people honestly do believe in this. If you're seeing a video created on YouTube and it's getting multiple thousands of views, just wait until things start to rise even more, and then that 2,000 views that you got, or 5,000 views that you got from that SHIB video, turns to 50,000 views, because the popularity is still there. It's just um, you're not seeing it in, like, right in front of your eyes, main, like, front page news, until we start to see a little bit of movement, and then boom, every single article is writing about it. Dude, I just want SHIB to hit $1, and I'd be happy for the rest of my life. Don't think that money makes you happy. Um, it does provide a level of security, which does create happiness if used correctly. So yes, but the more money that you have, or the more money that you can gain, a lot of times the more greedy people get and the more they want. Money, um, money shouldn't be the sole thing that makes you happy, but some of the things that you can do with that money should be the thing that makes you happy. If you can live a comfortable life, um, and spend time with your family, whatever you really want to do, that's what would make you happy, not just having more and more money, because more and more money can still be spent. There are people that spend millions upon millions of dollars and go bankrupt within a matter of months or even a year. um, and that's because they just spend it. They think that it's making them happy, but it's not. They're trying to create happiness by doing the next thing with more and more and more and more money. Um, so don't think that money just makes you happy. But I understand where you're coming from. It'll, when you get to certain levels, you'll be able to pay off student loans, pay off car loans, and make sure you can live a financially free life. Um, like I said, if spent correctly, um, you can have a financially free life, live off of the interest, and never have to worry about working again. However, even though you don't worry about working, you should still want to work, because that inspires others, especially children, to continue to work and not just stay at home all day and not do anything. You know, I want to make sure that I let my children know that I'm working hard, and even though it does seem like I'm home, I'm still working. Like, I had to work my ass off to get to this point, and I still don't feel like I'm at a point to where I can be, you know, the most comfortable ever. Like, I know that there's different things that could be done. I know we can move into. I want to move into our forever home and have all the different things in the house, um, but I also don't want to pay a higher mortgage, right? Even though the value of our house is a lot more, and we could sell it for a lot more, and we're not paying as much interest as a normal person because we always pay more to our mortgage. um, I still feel like, if we get a certain level, we would still be paying a higher mortgage, or a mortgage at all. Um, Always happy to help the channel, Matt. See your videos later. Have a great day, my friend. Yeah, you too, Richie. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for the super chat and the good questions. Because honestly, I can always count on you to come here with a really, really good question, and then we have a big discussion about it. And honestly, we did have a big discussion. It probably lasted like maybe 10, 15 minutes. So, and then it created more questions within it. So, anyways, thank you for being here. Have a great day as well. Um, and hopefully your investments go well today, which it's looking like we're seeing positivity in the market. So it's good. You need to work for your health insurance or go broke. I mean, yes and no. Um, you don't need to really work for your health insurance, but you need to work um, just for mental health, I would say. Um, Doing something, feeling like what you're doing has value, has worth, um, goes a long way. You know, there are times where I'm like, did I do anything today? When in reality, I did a lot. Like created videos for Patreon. I created videos for YouTube. I helped out a lot of people and got some situations fixed. And I definitely feel like as I think about it, I do a lot more. But when if you don't feel like you're doing enough, it feels like you're doing nothing. Does that make sense? Almost 200 likes. Yes, 192 likes. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. If y'all are waiting on exchanges to list Pepe, you're going to be waiting for a long time. I mean, right now, a lot of the activity is happening on the DEX side, which is definitely eye opening to see how much is going through on the DEX side. So, money is the ugliest thing in life, um, but you can't survive without it. That's the problem. True. I think money brings the worst out of people. Um, because again, greed is a real thing. Whether you think greed is not for you, it is. Everybody has a form of greed, and it happens, right? There are people out there that will go, look, I'm down to, um, my last, $20, but this person over here is struggling. They're really, really struggling. I can live on $19. I can live on $18. Um, and the fact is that, you know, maybe you see it as your last $20. You're like, I'm not going to help this person out because I need that extra $2. You honestly don't. You honestly don't. You know you can live off of $18. You can do something better. You can go and buy that person a meal, and that'll do so much more for that person. And it's a form of greed to just keep that money. Um, I know you worked for it, and maybe they could work for it as well, but you never know what they're going through. You really don't. Maybe they're applying for as many jobs as they can, but the problem is they have no way to stay clean. They have no clothes in order to make a good impression, so they've never been able to get a job. Right? So it it's tough. It's tough out there. I would definitely say, I would think from the outside looking in, how many jobs that I've gotten, that it's easier to get a job. But I know that it's tougher for some people to get a job. But why is it tougher for them to get a job? Can they not hold on to it? Do they not wake up on time? There may be some situations there as well. But the point is like I said, you don't know their situation. Um, Money can make the greed definitely come out of you. And even to a point to where, like, if I win the lottery, right, and I have $100 million, people are always like, why don't you just give 1 million to this person? Because you give the money to somebody, they'll just go out and spend it. But if you just like what's the saying, if you give a man a fish, he can eat for the day. If you teach him the fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. Like, that's the type of thing that needs to be taken into account in any situation. Right? Teach people stuff. The knowledge goes a long way. It's not about giving people stuff. It's about teaching people stuff. Let's see. What do you think is a good amount of money to have to live financially free, or what position do you need to be in life, owning a house, no debts, no loans, etc., to be financially free? So this is always a tricky question for some people because, like somebody like Dave Ramsey will say, even good debt is still bad debt, right? You owning a house, you having all these other things is still bad debt. And some financial analysts or financial advisors will say the same thing, that you shouldn't own a house until you get to a certain point financially. But there are people that make $30,000 a year that live more financially free than I do. And the reason why they do that is because they found a way to make more money by saving more money, right? So they save that money. They put it towards things that will gain them more value in life, whether they're investing their money into their 401ks, their ETFs, their index funds. But they're also not spending ridiculous amounts on Ivy League schools and all this stuff. Not saying that it's not necessary to go to Ivy League schools. Some people want to change their overall demeanor and how they act, how they hold themselves, and a lot of times you need those levels of conversation in order to change all of these things. The way that I spoke, when I was in high school and just getting into college, it wasn't the way that I speak about finance and financial independence and all of these other things now. Um, and it completely changed everything because I not just tried to stay prepared for interviews and stay um, you know I don't know how else to put it. Not tried to be the same way I was as a kid, uneducated and everything there, but I just tried to do better, just a little bit better. Every time you get a little bit better, whether it's, with your vocabulary, um, or whether it's just with numbers or the level of work, your work ethic, everything there. And, you just get a little bit better there. So honestly, where you have to be financially, I think you just have to find a way to minimize debt as best as possible. So if you have the ability to buy a car, don't go out and buy a $40,000 car on a 30,000 year salary. Don't go out and buy a $10,000 car on that, right? Give me a second. Try and find if you save money and you try and find a car that will last you, 4 or 5 years or so, that'll get you where you need to get to. Um, and you won't have to spend $30,000. You won't have that debt on your books. You won't have that debt. And then you can put that money that you're not paying towards debt towards your mortgage or towards a down payment. Um, and yes, I think owning property is probably the best way to gain wealth. It's not to gain financial independence, but to gain wealth, um, because you're investing into that house. Like say, you buy a house that was $200,000, and then in the next 10 years, it's worth $300,000, $400,000. Well, now you are paying down a $200,000 mortgage. As long as you're paying it down quicker, um, you're paying down a $200,000 mortgage, and you're gaining a $400,000 house. Now, with granted, if you pay all of the interest on a mortgage, with normal payments in the next 30 years, you're going to end up paying um, roughly 350, maybe $400,000 for that house anyways. So you have to figure out all these things. And if you need to work through that, we can always work through that. I have one-on-ones that we do on the Patreon. So if you want to sign up for that level and just have a conversation with me about where your financial situation is, and I'm not a financial advisor, I would love to be one. I'm not a financial advisor. I have multiple degrees in finance and business, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a certified financial advisor, um, licensed. But I uh, do like to talk about finances and understand people's situation and give them kind of pointers. Not saying you go this route, but this is the route that you could take, and this is what you would see during that route. Does that make sense? um, oh, I love this channel. Thank you for the $20 super chat. What's your thoughts on the stock VPLM? It's a tech company that is currently in a lawsuit with 64 big tech companies for patent infringement. Yesterday, Amazon agreed to settle out out of court. It's a tech company that's in a lawsuit with 64 big tech companies. For what? What are they? What are they in a lawsuit like for? I know you said patent infringement, but what's the patent infringement? Is it all for the same thing or different types of technology that they are suing these 64 big tech companies? Get out of here. Oh, um, honestly, I haven't looked into the stock market in a while. Maybe we should look into it a little bit. So, I mean, currently it's up 107%. In any case, when I do see a position that's up this much in the matter of, um, a day, I'm not going to make a move into that play because it's up 107%. But hopefully I'm looking at the right thing. Let me see if this is it. Let me look at all the not news profile. It is a broadband voice over internet protocol company. The company owns and develops the portfolio of uh, VoLP patents. Is it primarily produced by VoLP related patents? I can barely see this text. It's so small. Technology. The company provides transactional billing platform designed for the points and air mile business. Or, yeah, air mile business. And it also provides an antivirus application for smartphones. So this is the company that's doing there. So receives a favorable ruling in the Samsung patent infringement case. Patent infringement lawsuit against Amazon remains in the Western District of Texas. This was on January 11th. It was January 11th. Is that right? It seems like a long time ago. Let me see if there's anything that I could find over here. What is it? V VPLM. Stock news. um, it's not giving me any up to date news. Right now, no. Blah, 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 blah. News. There's no recent activity for this, so I don't know. But if they're already up, 107%, that's something that I would not, invest into. But if you have multiple lawsuits, that creates a number of great situations that would be phenomenal for this position. It's just right now I don't have any type of news on it. But you've seen this at 3 cents. It rose up to about 7 cents, dove back down. But this was all in the day, right? Oh, this was in multiple days. So just within 5.3, so from 5.2 to 5.3, you saw this rise up to that 8 cent mark, 8.5 cent mark. But like I said, I haven't looked into the stock market in a while. So are you invested into VPLM? Are you invested into it? Or are you just looking for something to make a move into? Because if that's the case, my stance on any position that has risen, 20%, 30%, 50%, 100%. It's not something that I would be a fan of, or I would want to make a move into because it's risen by so much. However, the interest in where this can go is definitely higher, right? You have a higher amount of interest because of, all of the different patent infringement cases, you know? Let the dividend reinvest. Once the income from an ETF is more than your monthly expenses, and you've uh, won investing. And yes, that's true. Um, there's multiple ways that you could do that, not only with ETFs but also with property. But the point is that if you own property outright and you only pay taxes on it, that would be a financially free situation where you own property. If you if you own property but you're paying a mortgage on those properties, that's where you have income generating properties. And now you have to figure out, make sure that you always remain at a net positive, while going through that, right? You save all of the extra money that you have there just in case you have a gap in between ownership. So say if you own the property and you're renting it out to somebody, and somebody's paying $2,000, but your mortgage is like $1,000 or something, or 1,300 or whatever, you have a $700 gap. Make sure you're saving that $700 towards any type of gap between that person leaving and the next person coming in. You know what I mean? So yes, you can find a way to use some of that as income and live on your life with that. Um, but until you fully pay off that mortgage and you only have to worry about the taxes, I would probably hold, maybe even a year's worth. If you can get up to a year's worth of whatever that mortgage would be, then you know that the previous rent or previous, income that you had would find a way to pay off all of that for the next year. Um, and they would say like 3 months or 4 months, or some people say 6 months, but I would go with a year. And it all depends how much of a gap you have in between it, right? Because if you only have $100 gap from how much you pay in mortgage to and taxes to how much you pay in how much they pay you, then it's not enough, right? You're only going to get to a point where at the end of the year you'll have an extra payment, maybe. Yes, I've been investing for a year. Oh, you've been invested for a year. So you've been in, was it at its high if you were at a year, or was it at a higher point or was it at a lower point? Seems like it was at 3 cents for a while. Let's look at it. Here, we'll look at the chart and we'll look at the full breakdown for like every day, maybe. So if you've been invested into this for a year, it just started to really rise here. You've been invested in this for about a year, all the way until 2022, right? 2022, 2022. Okay, so you were at a lower point either way, right? So you're up on this. You're being invested at a year, you were probably at somewhere, let's say, uh, 2 cents, and now you're looking at basically a 4x return that you did have within the position. Um, um, did you take any profits out of it, or what? Because if you don't take any profits, like typically whenever I see a position that I'm up multiple X's, I'm going to take some of my initial investment so that I protect my initial investment, as well as leaving like the other maybe 3X in there. You can take your initial investment, maybe a little bit of profit, or take 2X what your investment is. So your investment plus 100%, and then leave the rest that's in there and let that ride, especially being up to 8 cents versus where it was at its peak point back here in February. Seeing this at 11 cents. Not saying that this won't run even further. It's just kind of protecting your investment. I know you probably would have sold at this point of 12 cents and get, and sell your initial investment plus a little bit more, a lot more, and then you would have more there. But yeah, just Just beware. I don't know what they're doing right now. Hmm. Is this recent? Because this was at trying to figure out where this is. Because for some reason it's not giving me a full update. Give me a second. Can't refresh anything. It says it's at 5 cents. Why does it say it's at 5 cents? Am I in the wrong time frame? Because right here it says, about 9 cents. Um, yeah, and currently at um 8.8 cents. But here in the minute chart, it's showing me 5 cents for some reason. I don't know. Did you already talk about Jasmine? It's at 0.0071. I'm sure you know. I did talk about Jasmine today. A little bit earlier, I talked about Jasmine. But yeah, Jasmine looks fantastic today. Being at 0.0071. Let's go back here. And up 6%, volume up 35%. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Matt is sharing more than just financial knowledge. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Kind of going back, but I appreciate that a lot. I'd love to have the money Ethereum got for Pepe. I'd probably retire. Yeah, multiple millions of dollars. That's what's crazy about some of these coins that just take off out of nowhere. The people that create them and how much they hold, as long as you see more volume in it than what you're selling, you are well off, right? You could be selling $1 million worth and you see $1 million of volume that goes into it. I mean, or you see, $350 million worth of volume, but then you're selling $1 million. That's a drop in the bucket, and somebody just became a millionaire off a position that they created. That's what's crazy about creating cryptocurrency is like you can do that as long as you have something that's insanely popular, but then you also have to keep up with it, and you still own some, so it's still part of your net worth. And if you can innovate and do some new things with that, it could be much better than just whatever you're doing, right? You could be working in McDonald's and then all of a sudden you create a crypto exchange, right? So you never know. I would never buy a new car. So I buy a new car, but I usually try and haggle the prices. They always try and inflate the prices, especially now, and car prices are ridiculous. Matt, how do you feel about Solana launching the mobile phone? I mean, um, I didn't know about that. What net? Just a phone? They're not going under any network? Like a phone service, not just like honestly. So I gotta look into this. Let's bring this up. The App Store. Use all your favorite Solana DeFi protocols, NFT marketplace, and Web3 apps on the go. Honestly, this is not. This is where I thought that you would see a lot of, good um, extent of application within devices where you see the metaverse and all that stuff, and people are like, how can you apply crypto there? But applying crypto to a mobile device and different applications that you're using, if you have a D app store, um, that could be huge. Like if I had a device, right? I have this device and I have all of these applications that are used on it, and every application that is used on it would either burn a certain cryptocurrency or earn me a certain cryptocurrency by using those applications on that device, then being able to use those same coins to purchase newer apps or something, that could be huge, right? The more use you're getting out of these applications, the more, let's say, advertisers that you're getting. Maybe it could be little banner ads. You're getting little advertisements that you have there. They're getting paid something, and then you also get a portion of that. By you getting a portion of that coin, you can now use that to purchase other apps that are also within that app store. And then as you're using those apps, you generate more and more, and it's just a revolving cycle of just adding coins, right? And using the coins and having a stronger use case than anything that's out there right now because you're actively using a device. But you also have to get people on that device, get people off of, let's say, Samsung, or maybe it could just be the service to where you can still use a Samsung device, but go through Solana Mobile, right? So that's what this is, Web3 like never before. I don't want to order the Saga. Uh, the mobile era of Web3 begins now. Premium hardware. Scroll down. It's a whole different phone. It's not like Apple or anything. The purpose built to power Web3, self custody on the phone with Seed Vault. Access Web3 native D apps. Experience the Saga difference. Features for the future: incredible cameras, 50 megapixel main and 12 megapixel ultra wide dual camera system, plus a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Fire away. World class materials. Um, yes, I don't know how to say that word. Why can't I? Stainless steel frame and titanium accents. For some reason, I feel like I know that word. That just happens. It happens to me. 6.67. That's a pretty big screen. Peak refresh rate at 120 hertz. Android 13. A pure version of a mobile operating system and love. Full Google Play services. Open easily every time. Securely transact your favorite wallet with a Seed Vault. Protect your private keys via secure hardware and AES encryption. Improve user experience across D apps. Sign transactions using just your fingerprint. That's definitely something that's a better feature um, than like the what's it called, the Authenticator app, which I do like the Authenticator app, but having something that's an authenticator directly within your phone is also a good deal as well. Um, Not a bad situation. Let's see your favorite Solana D apps in the palm of your hands. Um, you discover the hottest projects in Solana ecosystem while using the D apps you already love on the go. Transact seamlessly across the D apps without ever having to open another browser extension. Get access to the newest mobile features from popular D apps like Magic, Eden, Steppen, Jupiter, and more. Interesting. Saga Pass. Exclusive ticket to the Solana mobile stack ecosystem. Premium hardware built for the future, Web3. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And this is through Solana, or this is a company that's building um, through the name of Solana. I love hearing stories about your family. It makes things a lot more personable. My family or somebody else's family? Oh, I'm going to create a coin called Potty Training with Matt. I mean, I did a good job. The fact that Hayden had the first night, and I'm so excited about it, and I didn't get a chance to get super excited. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get super excited for Hayden because she didn't pee in her diaper all night. She slept all night. She did not pee in her diaper. And then when she got to school, she peed in the toilet. And I mean, I'm so happy about that. I know it's not going to be the same way every day, but that's definitely a success. Dry diaper all night after you had water in the before you went to sleep. I mean, that's amazing. Um, so yeah, potty training went fantastic, and now the daycare is doing it the right way, taking her to the bathroom every hour. I'm happy about that. I don't know if I updated you guys on what happened with the car situation. I've heard that a blockchain phone a few months back tried to search it and couldn't really find it, but some HTC thing. Interesting. That is a big step. So if you guys are wondering, I don't know if I told you about the car situation that happened. Um, so yeah, I was trying to get my brother a car because he's been out of the picture for 7 years. He was incarcerated for 7 years, which I explained to my father-in-law recently of the whole situation. I never really talked about him too much, um, because, well, not because I never really talked about him too much. He was supposed to be at my wedding, as a one of the best men, but he couldn't be there because of that. Basically, it was treated as like, you know how the justice system is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Well, that's not how that works. They state that it's that way, but it's never that way. Um, and he was guilty from the rip, even though he had nothing to do with it. And given him 1 year before the case even happened, and then he would have had a sentence of 2 to 4. He would have been out in 1 year. But because he knew it wasn't him, and he would have gotten some sort of, what word am I looking for? I don't know if it's reparation or whatever, some sort of compensation for being in the jail for a full year before any trial even happened, and having to serve time for something he didn't do. So it was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to win this case, not have to spend a full year, and be compensated for the fact that I was in jail for a year. So he went to go fight the case. Even though they had zero evidence on him, the jury for some reason still voted, or said that he was guilty or something. And they ended up giving him 7 to 40 years for something you didn't do. Um, and if you decide to fight it again, they up the chart. They up it again. So he can't fight it. He can't say anything. He can't do anything because they're just going to keep upping the amount of years if he tries to, say, "Hey, I'm not guilty here. There's no evidence. Can someone just say, okay, I understand?" But no, that's not the case. So it was a horrible situation. I was in the courtroom, and I had to be quiet, but I was just like, what in the world is happening here? He it clearly, the evidence is on the location that um the drugs were at, not him. His name isn't on the just because he visited his friend who lived with the person who owned the place, who was doing some weird stuff. um Not weird stuff, but selling drugs and stuff. He would visit there. They would get him going in and out because he was the only one that worked anywhere. So he would go back, say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" Like, go and do stuff. Like, it's one of his good friends. So then they were like, "Oh, we have you inside and outside this house." His name's not on the lease. He doesn't live there. It's There's nothing against him at all. He has no history of that or anything there, and it's just a really, really weird situation. And it seemed like they just wanted to get somebody and be happy with getting anybody. And they got him, and wrongly getting him, and the jury still said, "Yeah, you know what? I see it." How? So, anyways, that's a whole situation that happened 7 years ago. Well, 6 years ago, technically. But yeah, I was trying to get him out, or get him a car and everything, and do a good deed for him and make sure he gets back on his feet and doesn't associate himself with anybody that even has a chance, a remote chance, remotely chance of getting I'm in trouble. And they tried to screw me over with this car. Um, they sold me a car that was as is, told me that it was fully inspected. It wasn't fully inspected. Um, we ended up going to get it fully inspected, or try to get it fully inspected, and it said it was going to be $2,000 to clear all the rust and fix the fuel lines and all these other things. So we brought it back and we were like, we need a refund. You told us it was inspected, it wasn't. We would have to pay $2,000 for this. It's a $3,600 car. It doesn't make sense. So then they were like, no, we're not doing that. We have a no refund policy. I was like, they clearly lied to me. We're going to have a lawsuit on our hands if we do that. And we were recording everything. We were getting ready. We were contacting lawyers. The lawyer was like, look, if they don't give you the refund by, I think it was Tuesday, we went back because that's why I didn't post anything on Tuesday. If they didn't give anything to us on Tuesday, then we would have a lawsuit and we would just do lawyer to lawyer and we would get this all situated and we would sue for my lost wages as well as his lost wages and also a lot of other things that were associated with that dealership. It was going to be way bigger than what it was just for a $3,600 car. But anyways, we got to a point to where we went down the road to a dealership, or not to a dealership, to a body shop, and we were like, let's get another assessment. We got another assessment. Come to find out, the first mechanic that we went to was trying to kind of screw us over again. Somebody else trying to screw us over, and they said then they said it was going to be $2,000, but the newer mechanic was like, yeah, this is going to be about $609. We can fix it, get it up to code, pass inspection, everything like that. And you may have a problem like 2 years down the road, but all we want is 2 years out of the car. Um, so 2 or 3 years out of the car would be fantastic. So, anyways, we go back to the dealership. They're like, well, we can do that. We can fix or get this up to code because we did. They didn't lie to us purposely, I don't think, but they did make a mistake by telling us that it was inspected and that it didn't need an inspection. Um, so yeah, we went down the road, we got it fixed. They ended up, reimbursing. Well, they didn't reimburse me yet, but they're sending me a check in the mail to cover that cost. But everything kind of got resolved. It's a fully inspected car. We don't have to worry about getting inspected for the next year. And it will pass inspection, hopefully, in the next year as well with everything that's there. Just go to the same place, I guess. So they remember who we are. Because certain places will want to, be like, oh, this is not going to pass. Nope. You know? So it was definitely a weird situation. But we got it all figured out. And now he has a car. And I, I'm glad that he's now approved to drive that car. And also he can get to and from work so that he can make the money that he needs to make, not only to pay the car off because I bought it, straight cash. So in order to pay the car off, he's going to pay me back rather than take out a loan. I wanted him to take out a loan so we could build credit and then, pay it off faster. But because he's been, out of the game for 7 years. But yeah, we'll get there. He's slowly getting um, back to life and seeing all of the new things that's out and how things have changed in the last 7 years. Like that's got to be crazy to go somewhere for 7 years, come back and seem like everything is completely different, I always like your channel, bro. Listen to a lot of your videos while renovating buildings. But Bull Run is not going to be for a while. The economic situation for most people is not good. I'm not saying that it's amazing for most people's situation. I think retail traders and a lot of retail investors are actually still in the market. I think what we are waiting for are institutional investors, and institutional investors will invest way beforehand. They try to really get in when things are starting to look up. And I think with the decreased inflation that we are seeing, and hopefully the easing of these interest rate hikes, turns it into something positive. But you may be right. um, There's always a chance that the bull run could be around the corner because we don't know when these institutions are going to invest, when these firms are going to invest. But you're not wrong, saying that our economic situation is not great for most people. But institutions, they had record profits in the in the year of COVID 2020. They had record profits because people were only buying there. And now that you're seeing prices that are skyrocketing, but wages are not going up, right? um, they're still making ridiculous margins off of their products. So once they do get to a point to where they're looking to invest back into cryptocurrency, because that's where the future is going to be, in more of the digital space and spending money rather than the physical, currency there, the fiat currency. I think um, you're going to see institutions that heavily invest into projects versus retail traders. But I understand where you're coming from. I appreciate that you watch my channel too. While you're renovating buildings, I'm, you know, always happy to be a part of some multitasking here. Right? I don't really think multitasking exists. I think you just get distracted from one thing and you do the next. But I've had situations where I've multitasked well. It's just it doesn't last very very long for me at least. I get distracted because if they're saying something really really interesting or they're talking to me directly, I end up listening to what they're saying versus doing the work that I'm supposed to do. You know, because it's really really engaging to where you're trying to fully comprehend what's coming out of my mouth or the person's mouth, and then also still thinking of like a response to what that person is saying. You know what I mean? Make sense? Key indicators don't look good. Need new policies from the government. I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I'm glad your brother is home, and you guys got the car situation sorted out. That could have been very annoying. Yeah, I mean, going through the legal system again would have been very, very annoying. Going through more of a legal route and suing them, and we were going to actually take it a step further. That place, um, it didn't really seem like it was review wise. Didn't really seem like it was the best place in the world, and we had like there were like four other customers that walked out and asked us about the situation that we were dealing with. And they told us about their situation and what they had to deal with and how far they had to travel in order to get these good prices on a car. And then come to find out it's not actually good prices on the car. But there was some sort of wiggle room in between what they charge and what the actual price actually is. Um, and it's so weird. It was so weird. I was like, how can they get away with that? But they do. Um, so yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say the name of it, even though I probably said the name of it in a previous video. But yeah, uh, your justice system doesn't suck. It's just not perfect. Learn history and look throughout the world. No, I think honestly our justice system does suck. The for for the US and how many incarcerated individuals we actually have and the charges, the sentences don't make sense. You have people that are in jail for worse crimes that are getting less of a sentence than people that are in for petty drug crimes. And a lot of people that are in jail. I had another friend that went to jail completely off of somebody else's situation there, but since it was a bigger drug situation and they were in the place, they ended up getting the situation pinned to them by everybody else that was in there because they were the least known in that place. So if you're a person that's invited to like a party that seems like it's a part of, or it has like drugs associated with it or anything, if you are the least known there and they end up getting raided, they're going to blame everything on you. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. And this person, a good friend, um, got multiple years. I think it was more than like 10 years for this situation with no history of any type of illegal activity at all. Um, and they just got the amount of what was there pinned on them and gone from the system for that many years on something you never even did. Literally visited a place one time. It breaks my freaking heart. Um, because he's one of the nicest guys that I've ever met, and is one of my brother's best friends. Um, and he became a good friend of mine as well, and also his family as well. And it's like that type of situation, like that sucks. You need more that you can look into that. You can't do that, and it's okay for them to do that on a person that has never had any history of any of these things happening. There are so many situations to where people are charged for the things that they didn't do, whether it was um, unaliving or um, robbery, whatever it is. Right? There's so many people that are charged for things that they didn't do. It's insane, and it's just because if you keep our prisons populated, they have funding. We don't need this many prisons. We shouldn't. But this is a whole nother topic. Um, what did I miss? I hope you are right about your thumbnail. Um, I mean, it's coming soon. I think it's right around the corner. I mean, we have some interesting information with it, like I said, inflation and interest rates that um, really apply a positive spin on things. And just like people that were saying that, oh, interest rates are going to increase, we're going to see this thing tank. Well, we're seeing a lot of things that are actually increasing. We're seeing the crypto market that's up in the last 24 hours rather than being down aggressively like people said it was going to be. I said that we may end up seeing more of a bullish run, more green in the market. So don't think that things are just going to absolutely fall just because we have rising interest rates. This could create a positive spin on things. But I learned a long time ago, do not hang around people like that. And it's amazing you stayed out of trouble. Yeah, well, uh, no bull, uh, no bull run. It's a Pepe run. I mean, maybe that might be the case. Um, so I was always in, you know, like sports and stuff. So I never was around anybody. But the point is that you can make friends in high school and then the cool kids invite you to a certain party and you go to that party, you're the least known at that party and something happens and you end up getting in trouble because you're there, right? um and that's just a situation where you're like, I want to go to a house party, I've never been to a house party, and live it up a little bit, but you live it up for one time and it costs you 10 years of your life. um that's what sucks. And you have ways to prove that that's the first time you've ever been there, but no, because maybe the jury sees something that they don't like about you. They don't like about the situation. They think you're lying in every word that you're saying, and you you end up getting 10 years because they're like, I don't agree. I don't agree. I think he did it, even though the evidence tells you they weren't there, or they weren't there any other day. They have no history of doing anything like that. But what happens? You see it time and time again. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys listening to this little bit of a rant that's not really about cryptocurrency, but I do appreciate everybody being here as well. All the super chats that we were able to gain today, I do appreciate that more than you know. Every single person that has commented, every member, every moderator, subscriber, whoever you are, I do appreciate all of you guys for being here and listening and conversing with me. So, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more videos like this one. Also, make sure you check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Perry8K, you can go ahead and follow me over there. Don't forget about some of the other links that are in the description for my Patreon, for different referral links if you want to sign up for KuCoin or whatever. But like I said, I'm going to get out of here and I'll catch you guys in the next video.